So, how do you take a bunch of talented individuals and actually turn them into a team that just clicks? A team that gets amazing stuff done? It's probably one of the biggest challenges out there, but it's also where the real magic happens. Okay, let's dive in and really unpack what it takes to manage people and organize teams effectively.
Really think about that for a second. What is the real difference between a bunch of people who just happen to have their desks near each other and a true high-performing team? The answer to that question? Well, that's the absolute heart of great management.
At the end of the day, it all comes down to the human element. You can have the perfect plan, the best tech, all of it, but if you don't get what makes your people tick, you're just never going to build that incredible team.
And hey, there's a whole field of study for this. It's called organizational behavior. Basically, it's the science of people at work. It uses actual social science to figure out what really motivates us, how we collaborate, and what makes us productive. It's about moving past just guessing. This whole conversation really started way back with a guy named Frederick Taylor. He was completely obsessed with efficiency. His whole idea was pretty straightforward. You break down a job, you find the single most efficient way to do it, and then you train everyone to do it exactly that way. Period. No wiggle room, just pure, optimized repetition. And yeah, this approach, which people call Taylorism, often gets a bad rap for being, simple and mechanistic. It kind of treats people like parts in a giant machine. Now, the core idea of finding the best way to do something is still super important. We see it in things like agile development, but it's only one small piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. Because let's be real, people are messy, we're complicated, well, not cogs in a machine. And that realization created this huge split in management thinking, leading to two totally different philosophies about what actually drives us to show up and do good work. These are famously known as Theory X and Theory Y. A Theory X manager basically thinks people are lazy, and you have to constantly watch over them, maybe with a stick and a carrot. But a Theory Y manager, they believe people are naturally motivated, that they want to do good work and take on responsibility. And here's the kicker. Whichever one you believe deep down, that belief is going to shape your entire management style and ultimately your team's success. Okay, so with that big picture thinking in mind, let's get practical. How do you actually use this to build your own A-team? Well, it all starts with getting the right people through the door in the first place. You've got to have a solid hiring strategy. This isn't just about posting an ad and hoping for the best. You need a super clear job description. You need to picture the ideal person for the role, not just their skills, but their whole vibe. And then you go through the process. The goal isn't just to find someone who's eligible, it's to find the person who is genuinely right for the job and for the team. But hey, the job is not done once that offer letter is signed. Far from it. Getting that new person up to speed with fantastic training and onboarding is absolutely critical. The faster they feel like they can really contribute, the better it is for them, for you, and for the whole team. All right, you've hired your team. They're in their seats. Now comes the million-dollar question, right? How do you keep them fired up and performing at their absolute best? This is where we get into motivation, the real secret sauce of any great team. Let's go back to Taylor for a sec. His solution was simple. Just throw money at the problem. Pay people more, they'll work harder. And sure, financial incentives are nice, but they often fall flat in today's world, especially in teams where it's hard to tell who did what. Unfair bonuses can actually destroy morale. So a much more modern way to think about this comes from a model by Hackman and Oldham. Their big idea was that the most powerful motivation doesn't come from a bonus check. It comes from the work itself. The secret is to design jobs that people actually find satisfying. And they boiled it down to 5 key things. Skill variety, that means you get to use different parts of your brain. Task identity, you see a project from the very beginning to the very end. Task significance, you feel like your work actually matters. Autonomy, you have the freedom to make some of your own calls. And feedback, you just know how you're doing. If you can build these into a job, you unlock some seriously powerful natural motivation. Okay, so you've hired a great team. You've figured out how to motivate them. The final piece of this whole puzzle is structure. How do you organize all this amazing talent so they can work together like a well-oiled machine? So, at the department level, you've basically got 2 main options. The first is a functional format. That's where you group all the specialists together. All the designers in one group, all the coders in another. The other way is a project format. Here, you build one dedicated team with all the different skills it needs to take a project from start to finish. But let's zoom in a little. Once you've got that project team, how do you set up the relationships and the communication inside that team? Here are two classic models. On one side, you have the democratic team. See how it's kind of like a web? Everyone talks to everyone, decisions are made together, no real boss. Then on the other side, you've got the chief programmer team. That's a clear hierarchy, a pyramid, where one person is in charge of the technical vision. Now, that democratic style is amazing for collaboration. Everybody feels heard, which boosts morale. The downside? As the team gets bigger, all that discussion can really slow things down. It can get kind of inefficient. The chief programmer model, on the other hand, is fantastic for keeping a project's vision really clear and consistent. The huge problem, though, finding that one person who has the insane technical skills and the leadership chops to actually be the chief programmer, well, good luck with that. It's really, really hard. So you can see that no matter which structure you pick, communication is everything. It's the lifeblood. And today, it's more complicated than ever. We're always juggling different ways of talking, from face-to-face meetings to instant messages to emails that get read hours later. And that kind of brings us to our final big question. You've done everything right, you've hired great people, you've motivated them, you've given them a structure. But in a world where your team might be spread all over the globe, how do you really keep them connected? How do you build that bond when you're not in the same room? That right there is the big challenge for managers today.